When Tears of the Kingdom released, it was over 6 years since Breath of the Wild did. And of course, a lot of things happened during that time. But I think what we can all agree on to be the biggest things to be added to Tears of the Kingdom would be the depths and the sky. These are two of the most enormous updates that have ever been given to a sequel. So, a lot of people were worried initially when the game said that they would happen in the same map. Well, Nintendo listened to that and they answered, because these things are incredible. But I feel like one vastly overshadows the other. Well, literally, if you can get what I'm saying. The depths, in my opinion, are just so much cooler than the sky. And it's odd because the marketing for this game really heavily suggested that the sky would be the coolest part of this game. But no, it's actually just second best when it comes to new additions to the map. So why is this? Today I wanted to look at depths in the sky in detail to see why the depths is so much better than the sky, what it does right, and what they can do to make the sky better if they ever choose to do so. Without further ado, let's get into it. Firstly, let's just talk about scale, because I think that's the biggest thing when it really comes to just how impressive these things are. The depths is absolutely unbelievable, especially how they managed to cram this into a Switch game of all things. It's absolutely enormous. It's the exact size of the whole surface. I've been playing this game for almost 100 hours and I still haven't explored that much of the depths. It's huge. It's really big. It's really hard for me to explain just how big the depths is. It basically doubles the size of the whole game, which is really impressive. So, why is this so much bigger than the sky? The sky is so heavily marketed in the game, but if you just look at the map, I mean, the sky really doesn't look that big. There's just a couple of islands scattered here and there. The biggest one is the Great Sky Island, which is literally the very first one you visit. I think the Great Sky Island actually harms the sky a bit because it's so much better, it's so much more in-depth than any of the other sky islands that it makes everything else feel a bit empty. The depths, on the other hand, is just incredible because the game, it's basically a secret. The game never explicitly tells you about the depths, but once you do the Robbie quest or you just stumble upon it by accident, you just discover that this game is about twice as big as you originally thought before, which is crazy and absolutely one of those magical gaming experiences I've ever had. The sky, unfortunately, just couldn't replicate that. I mean, let me be clear here. The sky is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just look at this. I mean, it's so beautiful. It's absolutely magnificent. It looks so much better on a TV than in a video. So it's just absolutely breathtaking. Like, the amount of detail that this game can make is unbelievable. But the sky just kind of feels a bit empty. I mean, it looks pretty, but there's not much to it. All the islands kind of feel a bit procedurally generated. It feels like Minecraft in a lot of ways. Of course, it isn't, but it just kind of feels like that because of how similar so many of the islands are. There's basically just like a couple of islands. One of them is for the Flux Construct bosses. Another of them are just some of these small groups of islands with a couple of trees on them. Another ones have some shrine on them, and the other ones just have like some catapult on them. I mean, that's about it. There's really not much to it. So the sky feels so much smaller than it actually is, just because of how much it feels the same. I mean, it kind of feels like if you've discovered one sky island, you kind of discover them all. Like, even I am having trouble distinguishing whether I've actually visited this place or not. Now, that's not to say that they're all bad. Of course not. I mean, they're exceptionally well designed. It's just that they are a bit too commonplace for me to feel really attached to them. Half the skylines have nothing on them except for like a Zonai device, and it kind of devalues it. I know I said that the sky is really small, and it is, but that would be okay if the skylines were more rich with like less skylines but more to them. But here they're just so spread out, but also small, so it just kind of feels like an insignificant portion of the game. Like, I don't find myself traveling to the sky that often in general, just because there's not really much to do here. There's the dungeons, but apart from that, why would you ever go here? I mean, there's nothing much. Now, the depths, on the other hand, those are just expansive. It's the exact terrain of the overworld, which, I don't know, I mean, it's kind of cool on some level, but it's also a bit disappointing considering you kind of have explored it, even if you haven't actually gone to the place, you already know what's going to be there. But on the other hand, well, it makes a lot of sense. It kind of feels like an underworld. It's like the Dark World from A Link to the Past. Yes, that was kind of the same place, but so much has changed about it. It doesn't feel like the same place. And of course, touring the depths is just so cool. Especially when you can see the lava from Death Mountain. The depths is just cool. The sky is beautiful, but the depths is cool. I respect it for that. Now, I've been pretty positive to the depths this whole time, and I mean, of course I am. It's very, very cool. But I should probably talk about some of the negatives too, just so this is really like a true review. So, yeah, the depths is not all perfect, and I don't mean to insinuate that it is. It has a lot of problems when it comes to diversity, which is a pretty big issue. So, the depths basically looks the exact same, except for the lava section near Elton. That wouldn't be such a bad thing, especially because it's so dark that it kind of masks that. But once you get all the light routes, it really looks like the exact same. There's a couple of unique areas, such as around Korok Forest, but apart from those, I could not tell whether I'm in Gerudo or Lanayru. Like, that's a problem. The depths kind of has the same problem with the sky, as in, like, if you explore one area, you've explored them all. But it does more to help alleviate this issue by having so much to find in the depths. Like, there's so many chests just, like, everywhere. In the depths, you can find so many hidden secrets, like Yiga towers or random chests that are just hidden with, like, the amiibo costumes back from Breath of the Wild. That's really cool. Much more cool than whatever the sky did, but quite enough for me to call it incredible. But it has just enough for me to say that it is very cool. In terms of enemies, I would have liked to see more unique enemies in this game in general. Like, they did a lot to improve on Breath of the Wild, but they didn't do quite enough. But the depths only has one unique enemy of its own. Well, one unique enemy and a boss, the frogs. This is cool, but it doesn't quite do enough. The frogs are just kind of there. I mean, they don't really pose any challenge whatsoever. The frogs bosses, now those are really scary. Like it when you can feel the rumble before you can actually see them. It kind of emulates the same feeling of just pure terror from Talysis from the first game. And that's awesome, but there's not that much to them. They're really easy to beat once you know what to do. But at least that's better than the sky. The sky's only unique enemy is the construct, which is fine, but the problem is the construct is just not that interesting to fight. I mean, they're so common in the game that, like, I just don't care. Gameplay wise, the depths is so rewarding. You can find these statues here and there that reward you with awesome gear that's, like, otherwise eroded. This 7 Knight's Broadsword just went to a 26 Knight's Broadsword, and it has better durability. So, the depths has so much incentive for you to explore it, and I think it does a good job in that regard. But the sky, there's not much to it. I mean, you can find old maps sometimes, but these old maps aren't even necessary. I mean, you can find the chest in the depths without using the old maps. In fact, it's so common that a lot of people have done it and just accidentally. So the sky doesn't really have a purpose, which is unfortunate. I mean, it's kind of surprising for me. The game basically kept the depths a secret and the sky the main focus. So when I played Tears of the Kingdom for the first time, I was really surprised at how little the sky was. I'm like, this is what the game's main focus was? But no, it wasn't. It's just kind of odd. Story-wise, both areas are underwhelming, but the depths has more internal lore. Like, you find these structures somewhere, these mines or random stuff that you can just find in the depths, and you have just no idea what it is, but you can infer to what it is, and that's cool. I mean, it's like stumbling across the ruins of some ancient civilization, which in this case is the Zonai. I think just the fact that it's destroyed makes it so much cooler than the sky. The Zonai ruins are basically in pristine condition. Like, It doesn't feel like something bad happened, it just feels like they just left and nothing happened to it. The depths makes me wonder really what happened to the civilization. And it feels like some big mystery that I'm just like I'm an archaeologist trying to investigate. That's awesome, but I just wish there was more to it. Okay, concluding thoughts. So, I've been a bit harsh on the sky, and maybe that's a bit too much. The sky is the equivalent of the Great Plateau in this game, and that's really cool and creative. The dungeons, the Wind Temple especially, are just absolutely beautiful in the sky. Like, I absolutely love the way the sky looks. But the depths is just so much cooler. It makes the sky feel almost irrelevant. Like, I don't know how to quite explain this. But when I first stumbled across this depths, I'm always like, well, why do I have to go to the sky now? The sky just kind of feels like an afterthought, even though it really isn't, because it's the game's main focus. So, honestly, the sky just feels like a bit confused. It feels like they were trying to make like the main plot point be the sky, but all the gameplay goes to the depths. So, why does the sky exist? The sky is an awesome part of Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm happy it's here, but it just feels like an afterthought, honestly. It feels gutted. Like, this opening shot, which is meant to just emphasize how big this world is, you can see just how little there is to the sky. I mean, there's not much to this, which is a shame, because the sky is such a great concept. I heard somewhere that it's because when you looked up at the surface, they didn't want you to be filled with land, which I guess is fair. But if that was really the case, you could have put some kind of filter on it. I mean, I don't see why the sky has to just feel so much worse than the depths in every single way just because of the fact that you couldn't see it from the surface. So, overall, I'm very glad that they're both here. I mean, come on, they're awesome additions, both in their own right, and I'm so happy that Tears of the Kingdom turned out the way it did. Clearly, the devs put a lot of effort into this, and it's well worth the 6 years of wait. But I just kind of wish that they put more effort into both of them to make them more equal. The depths is so much cooler than the sky, it honestly makes both of them feel a bit off. Like, I'm devoting all my attention to the depths, and the sky just kind of feels forgotten. While the depths, I feel like I'm devoting too much time, because what if I'm missing something in the sky? So, overall, yeah, those are my thoughts on the depths in the sky. Kind of a ranty type video. But anyways, so that was what I thought of the depths in the sky. Just kind of light video today. So what do you guys think of the sky? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you like this video, consider giving it a like or subscribing even. I would greatly appreciate that. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.